Hi, I'm Danger Dan Jers, the host and GM of the D&D Real Play podcast, D & Dark. Join us on Wednesdays for an absurd, over-the-top comedy horror adventure, starring some of history's most infamous monsters.
I'm Ben Magnet. I play Mary Frankenstein, our barbarian.
I am Daniel Cruz. I am playing Imhotep the Mummy, our cleric.
I'm Jordan, and I play Larry Talbot, a lycanthropic warlock.
I am Grayson, playing Jet Griffin, the Invisible Man, the party's rogue.
I am Aaron. I play the Phantom of the Opera, our bard.
For more information, go to dndarkpodcast.com and listen to us anywhere you find podcasts.
Hey everybody, this is Davis over at Con Freaks and Geeks, and I would like to welcome you to another episode of Pop Culture Gems. This is a series where we talk to amazing creators, artists, cosplayers, voice actors, and so much more. So if you like the interviews we do with amazing guests, give us a thumbs up and subscribe to our YouTube channel, the CFG channel, or you can go to our main website, confreaksandgeeks.com, or listen to it on any podcast services out there. Today, my guest today is the founder of of Anime NYC, which has become a huge anime event in a short amount of time. He is now expanding the brand down to the Dallas-Fort Worth area with the new event Anime Frontier from December 3rd to the 5th, where you can go to animefrontier.com for more details. I would like to welcome Peter Tatara to the show. How are you doing, sir?
Doing very, very well. Thank you very much for the time today.
Oh, yes, it's great. I've been wanting to talk to someone about this show for when I heard about it, I was like, for ages. So this is awesome. And I didn't even know, it's funny. I was they told me I'm going to be able to talk to someone that knows the show, but didn't tell me it was you. And I was like, oh, okay. So maybe it's just the showrunner and stuff, but the creator.
Well, apologies for disappointing you. And it's just me and not like Christopher Sabat.
No, it's awesome. No, I love it. I love it. But definitely welcome. And I really appreciate you taking your time on this.
Of course. Yeah. Cannot wait to chat. Yeah.
Right. Well, first off, like I said at the beginning, this is the first year of Anime Frontier, and I'm assuming this is the sister show of your bigger show, Anime NYC. Overall, what is the origin of wanting to start this convention up?
Totally. So, as you said, we run Anime NYC right in the heart of New York City, and a big part of that show was building this event together with publishers. So working with Crunchyroll, Aniplex, Funimation, Bandai, Kodansha, and the other companies that are really bringing Japanese pop culture here to the US. After a few years of doing the show in New York, they told us, hey, we trust you. We can do big concerts. We can do world premiere screenings. We can bring out mangaka, directors, and seiyuu from Japan. We'd love if there are other cities or there are other states or there are other places that you could consider this, that we could grow into as well. And we were honored by that and pretty much just asked, where would you like to see us? If we do a sister show, where would it be? And Texas was their answer. Absolutely massive state, huge, young, thriving, vibrant fan base. Direct flights to Japan. Both Funimation and Sentai are based right there in Texas itself. And our goal here is building a really cool anime show that brings together the kind of stuff you really only see at an Anime NYC or an Anime Expo to fans down in Texas.
I mean, you're totally right about that. It's funny because when people think automatically, most people think that it's the West side, California is the place to go for it. But when you really seriously look at it, like you just said, Funimation, Sentai, and most of voice acting wise, it's centralized in Texas.
Texas has been one of the hubs for the anime industry since that
forever.
ADV
film.
Yeah, ADV was right there, and ADV turned into Sentai. It's right there, and Funimation's been there in DFW itself, for years and years and years and years and years, and I could say years several more times.
Right.
And then because of those, the number of voice actors, voice acting studios, and everything else to support that, just so rich in Texas.
Oh no, most definitely. And I mean, and when I heard that, like when Anime Frontier, when they announced that Anime Frontier was coming down, I was like, oh great, we got a powerhouse coming because because like you were saying, Anime Expo is the big one on the West Coast, and you also have, I mean, I guess you have a series of the biggest con I would say with like Otakon and now I mean Anime NYC is really getting up there, and it's only been like 4 years, right? For
Correct. Yeah, this was our fourth year this year. Yeah, and just amazed by the response and how quickly we've been able to grow.
Oh yeah, I mean, I have to admit because I went to Anime NYC 2 years ago, and you definitely know how to put the show. So I definitely will say that, like before all of the craziness. But yeah, so is there something that Anime in Frontier will provide that will set itself apart from other events?
Yeah, I think there are two things. Like as I've already said, the big promise that we want to deliver to fans in Texas is access to the kind of talent and content that you typically don't see. That's really only on the coasts. So big premiere screenings, big concerts, awesome guests, huge exhibits. Like I think our biggest show-stopping feature this year at Frontier is the Attack on Titan manga gallery. This is an official giant gallery from Kodansha Comics. It's it is the center of the expo hall floor, and it's tracing the art, the story of Attack on Titan from its beginning to its end. It debuted at Anime NYC just a week ago, and Frontier is its only other stop in the US. So it's absolutely brilliant. And I think just given how important Attack on Titan has been to anime community and the anime culture over the past decade, like I think it's gonna make a lot of people really, really happy.
That is, yeah, I definitely will agree. That is very, very, very. I am definitely looking forward to seeing that too. So, but I mean, and you yourself, Peter, like, I mean, you have to be a geek in this, like, to be able to be doing stuff like this. So, I'm kind of wanting to know what is your personal geekdom.
Oh yeah, no, I mean you don't do this kind of stuff unless unless you personally enjoy it, unless you're in love with it. Of course, anime and manga. Like I've been an anime fan since it was called Japanimation, and I had to look it up on AOL. So like I've loved anime for a super long time. Ran anime clubs in high school and college. All that just spun up into what I'm doing now. Beyond anime and manga, Star Wars, Doctor Who, everything else that's out there. I used to be hyper big into Marvel Comics growing up. Haven't had the time recently to, but no, like I consume all of that,
Mm.
and I'm even a big fan of the Great British Bake Off. But I've not watched last week's episode. But I hear it's tear jerking.
Tear jerking. Oh, what?
I think someone big goes home. That's what I'm hearing. But I got to watch it tonight. I've not been
Oh,
spoiled yet.
I have never seen that show, and I didn't know that there was an elimination. I thought it was like a
You
three-person
should
thing.
you should watch it. We're gonna not talk about anime at all. It's gonna be 40 minutes of Great British Bake Off, but it is the most delightful, charming, good-hearted reality TV show that exists. Um, and you should definitely enjoy it. It is a nice cup of warm cocoa.
That's definitely on my list now. But like, what kind of anime do you usually like, or are you a fan of like isekais or anything like that, or like is
Yeah,
there a
I mean,
series specifically?
I'm into like I watch all sorts of stuff. In the past, like I got into anime through Vampire Hunter D, Ronin Warriors, Robotech, like that kind of stuff, like the late '80s or early '90s. Right now, I just finished up Golden Kamuy, which is delightful. It is just old-timey weirdos running around the woods in ancient Japan. It's great. Beyond that, anything else is popular I'm watching. But the big thing that actually started during the pandemic was One Piece.
Mm.
Um,
Oh my
and
god, did you
oh,
catch up?
it's no no I'm around 350 right now, so like
Oh
I
my
still have
god.
miles to go. But as a PSA, if you've not started watching One Piece or reading One Piece, you really should. Everything, everything that fans say about One Piece is true,
Really?
and yeah,
I'm kind
Go
of
on.
50-50 on
Challenge
it.
that. Challenge
I'm kind of 50. Like it's funny because like my friends for years told me, "Oh, you got to watch One Piece. You got to watch One Piece." And then
Mhm.
someone dared me to watch at the time. I believe they were at 600 episodes. Dared me
Mhm.
to watch all 600 episodes. And then
Mhm.
I was like, I don't know if I have the time. So I watched all of it, and I was like, yeah, the series is good, but man, that story pacing is
But
it's
I think that's part of what's enjoyable. Like, or it's one of the unique things about it. Like, One Piece takes its time. Like,
Mhm.
Chopper is not even introduced to like episode 70. Like, this is a show that's a very, 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 very long voyage. And like when I started it, like my worry was always that, like, am I gonna make it episode 1,000?
Mhm.
And when I finally started, my methodology was like, I don't know if I'm going to get to the end, but I'm going to enjoy the ride. And I think that's what fans really appreciate it. Like each week, it's just a new adventure with this family of misfits. And, you know, who knows where they're going to end up. But it's sincerely just enjoying their company and enjoying just the escapades, the humor, the adventure that they have together. And it's the true One Piece is all the friends they made along the way. Like it's
Yeah.
just super fun, and it's incredible to like most other long running shonen. At some point, it just devolves into people punching people, and Luffy certainly punches a lot of people, but like it still retains just this adventure. It's not always just tournament arcs. So
Yeah, that's very true. I will give it that. It does have a lot of diversity when it comes to that. And I think like I guess it's Oda-san's like, storytelling on each individual characters and where they came up from,
oh yeah.
which very much are all tear jerkers for most of them, I
Mhm.
will
So
say.
so yeah, so what are you watching now? Because literally, as the new season starts, I had to ask myself, do I watch more One Piece or do I watch this? So I'm curious if there's anything you're actively watching right now.
For me actively, like for the new season, I haven't really watched a lot. I try to, but it's time. It's the biggest thing. It's
Hmm.
like, you have all the time in the world when you're a kid and you're young
Oh
and
yeah.
then and stuff. But once you're up and then you're trying to do stuff, especially I mean our website and your convention, you crushing with conventions and stuff. I'm just like, oh man, I don't know. But like I did because like one of my favorite series of all time was Rurouni Kenshin.
Yeah.
So I showed my girlfriend like what I loved about it, and I love that kind of that samurai age of
Hmm.
stuff. So Kenshin was my go-to, especially with the Shishio story arc. I love that and stuff. But like and then she's showing me this one on Netflix called Comey Can't Communicate.
Yes, yeah, that just started. Yeah.
Yeah, and I will admit that show is hilarious and it's very, but because I'm usually not a fan of slice of lives like that or
Hmm.
school every day, that kind of thing. But this one is definitely got my interest. It's really really good.
Yeah, no, the manga was aptly acclaimed, and like looking at the anime, my wife's watching that too, and like
Mhm.
it's a delight.
I would definitely urge folks to check out that, and Way of the House Husband was also very good too.
Hmm.
So, well, not the anime, but the mangas were really good. But that's awesome. That's great. It's man, but that's cool. Finding like another OG anime fan. So that's awesome. With this event, with the Anime Frontier itself that was announced this year, it's looking like it's going to be a pretty big inaugural show. Especially for the DFW area. What made y'all decide to pull all the stops and create a well, I guess you really answered that, really.
Well, yeah, I think the goal from day zero was wanting to build the kind of event that fans in Texas don't typically have access to. So, like, absolutely thrilled to be working with publishers including Crunchyroll, Aniplex, Viz, Funimation, Kodansha to do really cool content at the show. We've got over 20 just top shelf voice actors from Dragon Ball, from My Hero, from One Piece, Attack on Titan, and more. So like it's giving fans like the kinds of stuff that I love, the kinds of stuff I know that fans in just massive cities like New York love, and giving them the chance to enjoy and celebrate this too. And like beyond, go ahead.
Oh no, I'm sorry, but I was just thinking about it. I was like, the one thing that you're definitely introducing it that I have to say that I really appreciate is the fact of exactly what you were saying earlier, that you're bringing not just the fandom, because that's the cool. I mean, going to a normal anime event is great because people are fans of everything or of something in the anime world, but you're also bringing the big houses behind it, the publishers,
Yes.
the stuff like that too, which is very rare. Actually, it's very rare. You could really count the conventions that do that on one hand almost. So like it's a little bit like, so I definitely appreciate that we're finally having an event in Texas that's like that. We have never had something like, haven't had something that big
You're
before.
very, very welcome. And I think what the publishers are doing are awesome this year. A ton of super cool screenings, awesome exhibits. I will say though, like because of this being the pandemic year, I think just our promise of delivering the event is it's half delivered this year. Like the other big piece that we need to make sure we provide to fans in Texas is beyond just cool voice actors and awesome screenings and events. It's bringing out just amazing talent from Japan. That's a little bit difficult right now, but as we get into 2022, that's so much a part of next year's show to have awesome Japanese musical talent, awesome Japanese voice actors, just the kind of just guest of honor that are real showstoppers.
Mm.
Um, Getting them to Texas, where I know they're going to have an amazing time and fans are going to just be delighted with them.
Is there something that like that Anime Frontier will provide that itself apart from other events, like something that the event itself will provide that no one else could say that they could do that same thing?
So I think beyond like I think there are two things that we're looking at doing. So the first is that level of talent, that level of content, that level of exhibit that you typically don't see in Texas. The other thing that we strive for is just a more professional show, an event that is very thoroughly put together. Like one of the simple things is like we mail badges out, and I know like that's not a thing that every single con does. So as long as you order in advance, your badges are mailed right to you. You take that badge, you go right on in. Like no lines, no nothing like that. So it's both amazing talent, amazing things to do, but also ideally a little bit easier, friendlier experience as you're getting to the show.
Oh yeah. Have you ever attended? I'm assuming. Are you based in New York itself? Like,
Yep. So I'm up. Yep, I'm up here in New York. We've got other staff down in Texas, but yeah, I'm right here in New York City.
okay, so you've done like New York Comic Con and
Hmm.
how Manhattan basically shuts down from it. But yeah, like just the mailing alone is just like it's such a convenience instead of dealing with the line itself. So that does go a long way. I totally agree with that. There was an NYCC this year, right? I wasn't really sure.
Oh yes. So yes, there was a New York Comic Con. General, yeah, just same general time frame. So early October.
Oh, okay. So it was all. I mean, I know because most events and conventions are kind of pushed to the back of the year this
Yep.
year. It's
I
not.
think isn't San Diego Comic Con over Thanksgiving weekend this year?
Oh my god! I have gotten. We do another podcast, and we've gotten in conversation in that alone, and we're like, man, like I know San Diego Comic Con is the grandfather of all conventions, but to say that they feel that there is something for Black Friday weekend, that's that's a that's a pretty that's an OG move. I will say that,
Hmm.
but we'll see. We'll see. We have someone that's going down over there, and we're like we're really curious on how that event's going to be like. But yeah,
Totally. But yeah, I think you're seeing like every single weekend from now until New Year's, like it's just jam packed. Where any event that was anywhere in the first two quarters of the year just relocated. So you've got two, three, four shows some weekends, and yeah, it's busy, but also like it's. I'm thankful they're there. Like, dude, a year ago we had no clue would we ever set foot in a convention center again? Like, would our lives just become this? Are we just over Zoom doing everything? Um,
what is the biggest thing that you like? I mean, like overall, like I mean, with MANYC, y'all's convention didn't really move much from what y'all normally do it, right? Y'all are basically usually in November, correct?
Correct. Yeah. So we were fortunate with our timing. Like we were able to hold our original dates. So that like we of course canceled last year's show, but this year's show has always been in November. So we stuck those through in 2021.
Oh, okay. So that's very true. And that actually kind of leads to my next question, though, because I know that this year has been pretty unconventional when it comes to doing an anime convention due to the obvious reasons. Do you know if like Anime Frontier is planning on doing in the future events later in the year around the same time, or is there a plan on making it a little bit kind of spread out from the end of the
Yeah,
year?
a great question. So of course, Anime Frontier isn't a one-off. It will be returning in 2022. And we've been actually looking at both options. We've been looking at, do we keep the show in December or do we move it back to its original home? When we were launching it before COVID, it was a late spring show. Um, and all of our discussions actually, while it was originally late spring, the response has been December. The response has been that December was very, very, very favorably looked at. I think late spring, you've got just so many other events, both in Texas and around the country. When to do an event in early December, the only other big thing that's going on is Anime NYC. So I'm only making it a difficult thing for myself. But I would expect to return next December rather than in May or June, probably.
Yeah, having a late year event here would be great. Because I think what would the big powerhouse be here? I think it's Akon is a big one. That's one of the originals. And
Yep.
then you
Yeah.
also got and then Anime Matsuri down in Houston, and then there's also San Japan, which mostly, like you were saying, mostly in the
Yeah.
front.
All three of those. No, no, go ahead. Yeah, but like all three of those, like they're early, mid, and late summer. And I think like while we're coming into Texas, like our goal sincerely is not to displace any other event. Like we're hoping to offer something different, but we want to be good neighbors. We want to make sure we're someplace on the calendar where we, don't overlap, where we aren't competitive. So I think again, like December, we're far, far away from all of those guys.
Mhm.
So a lot more breathing room.
No, I think it'd be. Yeah, I think it's a good idea.
It's
A
also
good idea
a
overall.
little bit less warm, so a little bit nicer cosplay weather.
Do you like the cold, or do you like the like for a cooler time when you're at the events, or like
Oh, I
when
mean, it
it's
depends. So I think, well, I mean, December in Texas, not December in New York.
that is a good
But
point.
I think like December in Texas is a little bit more conducive to hanging out outside than if we were end of June. Uh, think that might be a little bit too extreme. So I
Really
think the
sticky.
December dates, yeah, December dates give us a little bit more niceness when it comes to walking around outside.
That's a very good point. I would definitely will say that. It has been for me. It's like right now it's short wearing season, so I'm
Exactly.
definitely up for you. Is this event looks like a this? I mean, this event overall looks very loaded already, and y'all have a very strong guest list on top of all the different kinds of things happening all weekend. I mean, you got a pachinko area for crying out loud, which I am definitely going to be checking out.
I cannot wait for look, like it's we've got, premiere screenings, we've got, the entire lead cast of Demon Slayer, but the thing the thing I am most excited about is the Pachinko Fest. As that's still a thing you don't see at every single show. And like it's a dude in the DFW area who's a super big pachinko nerd. And I'm just personally really thrilled to present Pachinko Fest at Anime Frontier. And might even like want to look at that how do I bring that up to New York, as you don't see that at very many places, and it's super cool, super niche, super awesome, and all of the pachinko games there, like they're anime themed. It's Ava, it's Danganronpa, it's Haruhi. It's just over the top, stimulation and awesome.
Yeah. When I went to Japan, I mean, like, it's surprising, like,
Oh
how
yeah,
many brands of pachinko there are from very popular anime series. Like, I
yep.
totally right. And I think that like I really think that you're right. I mean, there's not a lot of events that do pachinko parlors like that. And my friend taught me how to play it. And then ever since I started playing it, I'm like, oh God, I really want to play some more.
Mhm.
What I'm more surprised about is that you found someone locally that does this normally.
It's
That's
pure
impressive.
serendipity. Like, he's a collector. This is what he loves. This is what he's an otaku of. But like, absolutely thrilled. And again, like, I think only growing from there to do more games in the future with him, and hopefully have him out in New York too.
Wow, that's so great. So you'd say the can't miss for attendees is the pachinko parlor. I like.
Yeah, yeah. Like, this is just a pachinko convention, and then maybe watch Demon Slayer with a cast talk show afterwards. But like, pachinko, that's like, what I tell anyone when they go to a convention is like, yes, there's this stuff you're going to love. Like, I don't need to tell anyone to go see Zeno Robinson, or to go to our like premiere fan screening. Like, that stuff you already know you're gonna like. But like, the big thing I really, really encourage anyone to do is get out of that comfort zone, and go to a panel you don't know about, or go check out something that you just have no clue what it is. As like, conventions are such an amazing place and an amazing opportunity to discover what is your new favorite anime, or what is your new passion. And you don't got many chances to play pachinko in the US.
That's
So
very true.
make sure you stop by the pachinko festival.
That is great. That is definitely great. And I mean, and when you run a show like this, like what do you like yourself like naturally gravitate towards? Like, I mean, be it cosplay, anime, manga, etc. Like what do you like when you go to a show? Even if it's not even your show, let's say that. Like if you go somewhere else.
It probably makes sense given like how we build the show. Like, I'm always into what the publishers are doing, what their new announcements are, what are their premieres they're doing, what what like early looks they're presenting. Are there big guests from Japan? Are there any concerts from Japan? Like, that's the super rare stuff at conventions that I love. As I think, anything like that, that's a once in a lifetime moment, especially if it is a premiere. Like, it's only you and the thousand other people in the room that are sharing this experience. Or if it's a big guest from Japan, like, that's a once in a lifetime moment, both for you and that guest. And like, those are the things that you carry with you and you remember.
That's very, very true. Very true. Like, I mean, like what I mean, just NYC 2 weeks ago, didn't y'all do a premiere of Blade Runner?
So we didn't actually do a premiere Blade Runner. Blade Runner is already airing on Adult Swim and Crunchyroll, but we had the director. So we had Shinji Aramaki, the director of Blade Runner Black Lotus, out as a special guest, where he was talking about Black Lotus plus Maddox, Bubblegum Crisis, all the other stuff he's worked on. We also had the composer of My Hero Academia out to introduce an official My Hero Academia concert, both of which were like two of the biggest highlights of the show, and both of which I'm entirely amazed and baffled that both of those guests were able to actually come from Japan this year, given all the hardships and difficulty with quarantines with COVID.
Yeah, that I mean that's quite impressive. You got those creators. I mean,
I'm baffled by it, amazed by it. And so no Japanese creators on the ground in Texas for First Year Frontier. They'll absolutely be there in year two. But what's cool, again, a ton of U.S. voice actors, and we do have various giveaways from Japanese talent. So while they're not physically in the building, they've got messages for fans. There's actually like signed shikishi autograph boards that were given out in some panels. So doing what we can to plant some breadcrumbs. But
well, I will say this though,
yeah.
but like you're like I said, like you have a very strong list of characters. I mean, like you said, you got Sean Schimmel, Chris Sabat, like Zach Aguilar, Zena Robinson. That's just to name a few. Robbie Draymond, which I was like, wow, dang. And but like I'm just saying that like is this the norm for like this
Oh
that
yeah,
kind of
yeah,
starts with the
yeah.
cast or
So I
is
think this is what you'll see. Like, that's the kind of talent we'll have any year. Like, the only thing in the future. It's this plus more. It's this layer plus next year that layer of, oh, holy crap, I can't believe, this mangaka is coming from Japan or this voice actor is coming from Japan. So like that's the big thing that is, I think, the rarest thing you can see at a show, and that true once in a lifetime moment that never ever happens again. So that's what's already well underway for 2022.
Yeah, and I mean, and that's not even including the new a new world concert for Final Fantasy, and that's just
Oh yeah, so like beyond the guests and and stuff like that, I think we've got a few really special events we're proud of. The show is ending on Sunday with a new world intimate music from Final Fantasy, which is an official live Final Fantasy chamber music concert. Brilliant. It's played around the world. Very excited to have it for fans at Anime Frontier. Completely free event. No additional ticket for that needed. And then to kick off the event on Friday, I've got a special screening of Promare, the Studio Trigger absolutely gonzo fire rescue, just insanity film from G Kids. And like the cool thing with that is, before we canceled because of COVID in 2020, Promare was our kickoff. So like I'm just personally really happy to keep that there as our Friday night. Like, the movie's a little bit more accessible now than it used to be, but I feel like Promare and the following is almost like the Rocky Horror Picture Show for anime fans. So can't wait for just all of the ruckus and all of the noise and all of the screaming when we air Promare on Friday night.
yeah, man. It's just like, man, you just it's insane, and just with all the stuff that you got set up for this, it's crazy to me. But and I really like I said, like I don't have time usually for anime conventions as much anymore, but like you have no idea like how excited I am to see this coming here. So this is really cool. Originally I was going to go to Anime NYC later this year, but I had to go somewhere else for it, unfortunately. So no, I definitely like your brand. In
Oh
other
no,
words.
yeah, can't wait for you to be there. Uh, and I think this part, not so much for the podcast, but just for like any giveaways, any comp badges you want, let us know. Like, super happy to set up like a bunch of free tickets for your fans, followers, what have you. Like, super excited for your passion and want to make sure anyone that's listening, like, give them some opportunities to come as well.
Oh no, definitely appreciate that. Yeah, but yeah, we're definitely but like yeah, unfortunately, like me as the fan going to it, it's like, oh, go, they have to go, but I'm there. I already got a press pass. And I'm definitely ready to be covering it. So definitely going to be there personally. But I will say this though, like and I'll probably merge these two questions though, since they're virtually the same. But because of COVID itself, but setting up a brand new event like with the pandemic restrictions for Anime Frontier, and because it was delayed, canceled last year, must have been insanely challenging. Like how like two I guess this is a two-parter. Like, what was one of the hardest things to do when setting up this event, and secondly, how differently did you need to approach things to set it up, like so it can be made, or for it to be
Yeah, yeah.
going through?
It was difficult. It was difficult. Any event we do, we really try to have a 12-month window. Like,
Mhm.
we really hope to spend a year crafting something. Like for Anime NYC 2022, we've already started big picture stuff for what we need to deliver for that. So hopefully we spend a year making something. Because of COVID, significantly less time, as we didn't even know if conventions could return. And I think it wasn't until late spring, early summer when you started to see things really open up, when you started to see vaccines come out, that we realized, yes, like there's a path to an event this year. So like the biggest change and the biggest struggle was just the shortened timeline. The other piece with that continues to be ever so fun is, mm, everything with COVID continues to shift. Like, what is the best practice? Where are we, as a people? What do we need to do? What are the local regulations? That will shift every few weeks. So even if we did something in June, we might need to redo that again in September and then in October. So it was a short amount of time redoing a lot of work as things shifted. Um, the other thing that's honestly a struggle that's outside of our hands, like all of the supply chain just disruptions that I think everyone is seeing, definitely hits the Comic Con and Anime Con world too. Be it vendors not being able to get access to stuff for their booths, or us just as we're seeking out show supplies. A lot of our vendors, you know, sold out and having no ability to replenish. So like it's led us to be creative as we tried to find solutions for things.
Wow. So like, I mean, I didn't even really think about the vendor side of all of this, but yeah, that must have been pretty
Oh yeah, like I mean,
nightmarish.
especially for an anime convention where so much of the goods on that expo floor are from Japan. And I think one of the biggest areas where you're seeing disruptions is in global shipping. So if you've got product, on a boat coming across the Pacific from Tokyo, like there are delays every step of the way. So it's a significant thing we're seeing with a lot of companies, just across the entire anime pop culture world in the U.S. is just getting access to get the stuff.
Especially on time at
Oh,
that too.
totally. But like what's cool though is I think over the past 2 years, as people have had more time at home, everyone has just had more time for their nerdy hobbies. And you're seeing comic stores, anime stores, publishers, all that, like the interest and the amount of sales, the amount of fans is like nothing like anything they've seen before. So like it's been a terrible time for the entire planet, but like I think the silver lining for us in nerddom is so many other people have just discovered what this stuff is and have sought it for for a break and or vacation from everything else going out there.
It's very true. And I'm kind of curious though, because I mean, I guess because like we usually do like we over at confreaksandgeeks.com, we go to several different events throughout the states, and we haven't, but we've been sidelined because of this, because of the pandemic, obviously. But like. I was wondering with a show like Anime NYC, like when and y'all just did it what, a week ago,
Yes.
2 weeks ago. Yeah, like how good, like I mean, how big was that turnout overall? Like was it like amazing, like
It
surprisingly
it
amazing, or
was
what?
it was amazing. It was actually our largest show yet. So it was absolutely incredible. Um, and it was more fans than in previous years. And our biggest challenge, and something we should have understood more, is because there's not been a big show like this in 2 years, the demand and the excitement from fans was far greater than any time else. So everyone got there very early on Friday, all at the same time. And there were, not gonna lie, there were major issues with move in on Friday to get people in a reasonable time frame. We repaired a lot of that for Saturday and Sunday, but just absolutely overwhelmed with the passion and the response from fans who want to come back to an event like this. So like our biggest goal now as we go to 2022 for NYC is additional infrastructure to accommodate all that. Like so happy to be a home for more fans than ever, but with more fans coming and more fans wanting to do more, it's going to mean different technologies around ticket releases, around ticket lotteries, around distribution methods, entry points, all those kinds of things. As we want this to be an amazing experience for everyone who comes through our doors. And if it's not, we've not done something right. So it'll be a big rebuilding year as we make it, even more incredible next time out.
Back to normal. And I'd have to say, I mean, if any folks have ever been to Javits Center, I mean, I loved going to Javits Center. It's that's such a it's a huge spot, and just to say that like y'all were overwhelmed, it's not. I mean, it's not a bad problem to have, but at the same time,
it is it is a problem. If you
it
were
is a
one of
problem.
the
Yeah.
if you were one of the fans outside, it was a
Mhm.
problem. And like, don't want to make light of that. Want to make sure we remedy it for all of those fans, as this is a show for them.
But the
And
biggest thing is like,
yeah,
you're totally right when you're especially accommodating for the fans is very, very, very good overall towards it. Just a matter of just it's a matter of just, getting the right ratio, going
yep,
going in really. So oh, okay, well that is awesome. Like I said, guys, like Anime Frontier. Is there anything you'd like to plug? Well, I mean, well, obviously, would you like to
you
plug
should
more
go
on
to
Anime
Anime
Frontier?
Frontier. Yeah, no, I think the only thing to plug is like, it's sorry, what month are we in anymore? So Anime Frontier is December 3rd through 5th, right in the Fort Worth Convention Center in downtown Fort Worth. Tickets are available online. They'll be available at the door. Also, if you want to support local businesses, we've got tickets available at different comic shops and anime shops throughout DFW. Any ticket you buy from a local retailer, they keep a little bit of. So if you've got a favorite comic store or favorite anime shop, see if they got tickets. You buy from them, you support them, and you support us.
Oh, that is awesome, guys. Yeah, folks, like I said, definitely go check out Anime Frontier. This is going to be I feel it's going to be a very good event, a very big event to definitely grow on in the local DFW area. So, yeah, so definitely go check out animefrontier.com or go to any local dealers in the area to check them out. Peter, thank you so much for stopping by. Really, really appreciate geeking out with you, man.
You're very, very welcome, dude. Like, always a pleasure. This, frankly, has been a vacation from Anime Frontier planning. So thank you very much for that. Um, yeah, and hopefully, if there's no other takeaway, hopefully you start Great British Bake Off.
I will definitely. You know what? Thanksgiving. Maybe it's like after the Thanksgiving meal. Perfect time to be like, okay, let's time to Netflix and chill a little bit. So
I
we'll
think
be.
that's perfect. I think that's the recipe right there.
Yeah. But guys, thank you so much for checking us out over at Pop Culture Gems. As always, we are on all podcast services. But if you'd like to check out everything else that we like to do, go to our main website, confreaksandgeeks.com. So this is Davis signing out. Y'all take it easy.